For rewards, it's a fairly large company, and some of the rewards are fairly well dictated by human resources, and we can certainly use those tools to the best of our abilities to, try to separate higher performers from lower performers, and really kind of get a really great separation of rewards from the high end to the low end, and make people aware of that. But I actually think that one of the more important pieces of rewarding employees is the recognition for what they do. When I sit down and talk to somebody what they're doing and what they're excited about, they hardly ever talk about their paycheck that week or the raise they got 3 or 4 months ago. What they talk about is their effectiveness in the industry. God, I did this, I did X, Y, and Z, and it moved the industry. Like all these people and all these other companies, and we're actually changing the way the industry works. And to allow that to happen and give people recognition for doing that kind of work, I think is way, way, way more important than any sort of financial rewards that we can give out. A lot of the tools and processes we use are very data-driven. People want to see spreadsheets with numbers to prove what happened and what didn't happen. I personally go against that grain quite a bit and find some metrics are very hard to quantify, especially when it comes to people management and relationships. And so one tool I use is my sneakers. Shutting off email, shutting off my computer, putting on my sneakers and walking around the hallway and just talking to people. Specifically, if it's review time and I'm looking for some very definable feedback on an employee to see how they're doing and how their relationships are and how their management is, I will go and interview some of the colleagues and some of the employees for that manager and get written feedback and email. I'll also, throughout the year, people a lot of times are proud of what they do and are proud of what their colleagues do, and will send email, and so I'll certainly kind of save those emails. But I really like to, at least once a year, take a bunch of the feedback from those interviews and emails and share it with the employee to kind of show them what's working, what's not working. Again, I think with open and honest communication, it starts out with a couple things. It starts out with the type of people you hire in the first place. And we tend to hire, as most software companies do, really intelligent, passionate people. Boy, 99.9% of the people you work with have really good intentions. And where communication becomes an issue isn't because someone has bad intentions or they're not communicating honestly, it's because they have a different goal in mind. And so, to me, the most important thing about communications, especially when you talk about multiple groups working together, is making sure that the goal and the mountain you're going to climb, everybody's aimed towards the same place. And as a manager, if you can really describe, we're taking that mountain north by northeast, let's get there, and as you can describe the top of that mountain really well, the team will figure out how to get there. And the communication issues tend to be not out of malice or foresight, but they end up being just miscommunication. People just kind of miss each other. And so my role as a higher level manager a lot of times is just to kind of get people in the room and get them kind of talking about the same thing, where A equals A, apples to apples. Being up close and personal and seeing person's expressions and hearing what they're saying behind what they're saying is really difficult to do over email, but it's just as it's the reality of being a multinational corporation and working in every time zone in the world. So I'd say the hardest part is sleep. Is figuring out what time in the middle of the day or night you're going to be actually awake to communicate with that person. That's the most